You've probably heard of the blood type diet. Eat right for your type. Type O eats meat. Type A goes plant-based. Type B does dairy. But is any of it actually true? And more importantly, does your blood type change how your medications work in your body? And these are questions that sit right at the intersection of personalized medicine and nutrition science. And the answers are they're more nuanced and more fascinating than most people realize. So today I'm joined by Dr. Ugomma Okorogo, a family medicine physician, public health specialist, and nutrition and lifestyle coach, who's going to help us separate the science from the social media noise. Because your biology is unique, and understanding it could change how you eat, how you medicate, and how you heal. So stay with us. Welcome to When Food Meets Medicine, the podcast when we explore the fascinating and often critical intersection of what you eat and the medications you take. I'm your host, Dr. Remí Olukoya, and I'm passionate about empowering you with the knowledge to navigate your health journey safely and effectively. And today we're diving into a topic that's generated a lot of buzz and confusion. The idea that your blood type dictates which food are safe for you to eat, especially when you're on medication. Imagine being told that because you're blood type A, a certain healthy food could actually be detrimental to your prescribed therapy. While for someone with blood type O, it's perfectly fine. It sounds compelling, doesn't it? But is there any truth to it? And this isn't just about dietary fads. It's about making informed health decisions that can profoundly impact the effectiveness of your medications and your overall well-being. Understanding the real science behind food-drug interaction is crucial for everyone. For those managing chronic conditions to individuals taking over-the-counter remedies. So we're going to cut through the noise and provide clear, evidence-based insights. By the end of today's episode, you'll have a much clearer understanding of how to approach dietary advice, especially when it's linked to something as fundamental as your blood type, and how to discuss these concerns effectively with your healthcare providers. So let's get ready to separate facts from fiction and empower ourselves with actionable knowledge. I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce our esteemed guest today, Dr. Ugomma Okorogo. Dr. Okorogo is an incredible physician specializing in family medicine with a strong background in public health and international healthcare management. She's also a passionate nutrition and lifestyle coach. She brings a truly holistic perspective to patient care. So, Ugomma, welcome to When Food Meets Medicine.
Thank you, Dr. Remí. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you here. But before we dive into today's fascinating discussion, just a quick reminder to our listeners that this podcast is for educational purposes only, and it's not a substitute for personalized medical advice. So the blood type diet phenomenon, Dr. Ugomma, the concept of eating for your blood type, it gained significant popularity, suggesting that our ancestral diets tied to our blood groups dictate which foods we should eat or avoid. And this theory claims that certain foods can act like lectins that are incompatible with specific blood types. Health issues from your perspective as a family physician and nutrition coach. How much scientific validity does the blood type diet hold, especially when we consider its potential impact on medication efficacy?
Mm-hmm. I love that you have framed it so honestly because the blood type diet has a complicated history, right? So I always tell people you will often get a complicated answer for it. Dr. Dadamo was the person who started, with the research, the original work on the blood type diet. And it was a hypothesis pretty much. So the idea that the blood type antigens influence digestion, influence immune response, influence microbiome composition. It is plausible, but it's not proven. So it's still, some people are like, especially core scientists are like, it's neither here nor there. However, the science behind it is evolving, which is what I love about it. So while it lacks that rigorous clinical trial backing, modern research in nutrigenomics has shown that our blood type, the antigens, they influence our gut microbiome, our inflammation systems, and how we respond. We respond to food. So personally, I've gotten a lot of feedback, positive ones, from family and friends that I placed on the blood type diet. And for me, I've seen tremendous changes with the blood type diet in my life, in the life of family members, like I said. So I've stuck to it since 2014. And for me, there was a history to it. I still am a very picky eater. I could name on one hand what I ate every day, and it was the same thing over and over, and I was fine with it. And I thought that they were okay for me. I pretty much thought that they were good for my body, for my system. But I was very wrong, because as I got older, and this is what happens that I noticed with the blood type diet, as you get older, it speaks more to you, what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, even down to supplements, what supplements to take and what supplements not to take. So as I got older, it became more profound for me. I could sense it. For example, blood type B. And being Nigerian, I grew up eating chicken. It was like a big thing, right? But then I noticed that every time that I would eat chicken, I would feel sleepy. And physicians came up with a name, postprandial stupor, and it was like a norm. Oh, you just ate a lot, it was supposed to go hand in hand. When I started exploring the blood type diet, I realized I shouldn't eat and feel sleepy. Food should energize me. It should not affect my mood. It shouldn't make me down. It should give me energy. It should actually give me more focus. But that's not what was happening. And so I explored it and realized chicken is actually not good for blood type B. And I thought, my goodness, that made a lot of sense. And it wasn't just chicken. There were some other foods as well that I indulged in, that it was rich in even in my culture. It was just, but that just wasn't good for me. So I started cutting them out just a little, not drastically. I just took out chicken just to see, and replaced chicken with turkey. And never looked back. Since 2014, the changes in my body, in my health, were just tremendous. It's amazing. Yeah.
It's very interesting. I like the way you put it. It's a very clear way to put it, as in you've noticed something, you research it, and you found out that taking that out of your food or diet makes a huge difference, and changing turkey with chicken. I know you mentioned family members. Have you had a family member or patient who came to you convinced that their blood type diet was causing, or apart from you, or of course, which you noticed personally, was causing or solving issues, only for you to find a different underlying factor, perhaps even related maybe to their medication?
Yeah, especially supplements, because you know how some patients can just go take over-the-counter supplements, especially with the there was a time when it was ginseng. There was a rave about ginseng, and everybody was just taking ginseng, without asking their primary care physicians if it was actually good for them, or contraindicated with any medication that they were on. And there was just a lot of issues that patients were not responding to medication. Their conditions seemed to get worse, not better. And that's why it's important to also ask, that's why when you go see your primary care physician, they ask you what medications are you taking, prescription and non-prescription, because they're very important. So it turned out in this case that it was the ginseng. It was just not responding. It was actually contraindicated with the medications that she had been prescribed. Yes.
So building on that, while blood type diets might lack strong scientific backing, we do know that they're genuine food-drug interactions, very real, and can be very critically important. So many people are aware of the classic grapefruit and statin interactions, but they often miss the less obvious ones. A very good one, you talked about ginseng, but from your experience in medicine, what are some of the more common ones, yet frequently overlooked, or maybe
Right.
food-drug interactions that patients should be aware of, regardless of what their blood type is? Yeah.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, the grapefruit and the statins. Again, like the supplements again, vitamin K. You see, when people talk about vitamin D, you should take vitamin D, but also take it with vitamin K because, you need that balance and it helps with the absorption. If your patient is on warfarin, vitamin K is not a good idea.
Yes.
And then you've people with chronic kidney issues and taking high protein foods. So they're always eating meat and, their diet is high on protein. That's not good for their kidney because they're putting more work on the kidney. So these are places where patient education is very important.
Yeah, correct. And it is quite important. It is powerful for patients to know what they are supposed to take and what they're not supposed to take. It's important for them to share with their doctors and pharmacists supplements and medication that they do take, so we can catch things before it becomes major side effects. Can you tell us about a time when you saw this play out in your practice, or perhaps with a patient or farm whose medication wasn't working as expected due to maybe a common dietary habits they weren't aware was problematic?
This was when I was more in public health, actually. There was a patient with, she was a diabetic patient for many years, and her medication just never seemed to work. And upon asking of more questions, deeper questions about her lifestyle, what she was eating, it turned out she still maintained a very high carb diet because that was what was easily accessible to her. So a lot of rice, a lot of our typical Nigerian food, a lot of yam, rice. Not saying that those are bad at all. They're not bad, but if she had more education and awareness of how those could work against her diabetes medication, she would have made better choices. So it was upon asking all these questions, what do you eat? What do you eat on a daily basis? What did you eat today? What did you eat in the past 24 hours? And it was carb, 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 carb.
Yeah. Makes a whole lot of difference. Like I said, if patients can let their physicians know what they take, or the pharmacists. Since you were deeply involved in public health and international healthcare management, you did have unique vantage point on how dietary advice impacts population. Often public health recommendations focus on broad beneficial patterns like the Mediterranean diet or DASH diet. How do you reconcile these general evidence-based public health nutrition guidelines with the need for individualized medication safety? I think especially for, let's say, diverse population who might have had varied traditional food practices, something like you just mentioned.
So the thing about the public health, that this one size fits all nutrition, it doesn't work because we all come from varying backgrounds. We all have different foods available to us in different geographical locations. So, and what I found, and I mean, it's general knowledge that these guidelines were pretty much derived from a particular population. So it was Caucasian, male, and more Western, pretty much is what it was. So it doesn't really take other parts of the globe into consideration on what they eat. So when we tend to, get patients to stick to that, we're actually doing them more of a disservice than helping them. So I always ask about what you actually eat. What are you actually eating? Not what you think you should eat. Because patients come, they know what you want them to say, they know what they should be doing, and they can give you that answer. Oh, I eat this. No, no, no. It's okay. Let me know what you usually eat. So a Caribbean person will tell you something different from a typical Nigerian patient, and an Asian person will tell you something different. So it's good to have that baseline based on their culture, on what's available to them, on their budgets as well. Are they able to cook? Do they have someone who can cook for them, or do they have any comorbidities that's affecting their ability to cook. So they can tell you, yeah, I eat this, I eat this, I eat, but they're not, the fact that they're not able to make those meals themselves it makes a huge difference, because they can just go down the street and just buy fast food, which is not going to help their medication or their health in the long run. So working within those realities that they have is pretty
Yeah.
much the best way to go about it, and then start from where they are and then work with them and
Okay.
make.
I think you make a very crucial point, and it is also important to be culturally sensitive. So, do you have a case where you could really stuck with you, where understanding a patient's cultural dietary practices was a key to safely managing their medication and their health outcomes overall?
Yeah, it was actually that diabetic patient that I mentioned earlier, because
Okay.
what she had accessibility to was very limited.
Mm,
So that
mm,
played a huge role.
yeah.
And she lived alone, so she didn't really bother with cooking. It made more sense
Yeah.
to her to just order out,
Get
and
food
that
out.
wasn't really, yes, that wasn't really well
Uh,
well for her health. Yes. In educating her and really talking to her and showing her how those practices and choices were acting against her and against the medication, you could just see like a light bulb moment.
mm,
Just, she was like, no, nobody has ever told me this. I'm like, yeah, I mean, physicians have like 15 minutes. You're not able to look at the patient holistically
yeah.
and apply certain, you may know this is an Asian patient, right? But you won't have that opportunity to really think about, oh, cultural sensitivity, and should play a role here, and
Yeah.
ask about things.
Because 15 minutes, it's one for the doctors, I don't think is enough, and even for the patient. So how do you often treat patients who often feel overwhelmed by conflicting health information when they're maybe prescribed a new medication or start a new diet? They might not even think to ask about potential food interaction. So, as a nutrition and a lifestyle coach, what practical advice do you give your patients on how to proactively discuss their diet and lifestyle choices?
I tell patients, you know yourself best. You know your body best. Think of your physician or your advisor as someone on this journey with you that can guide you. And that's why honesty is very important. So honesty on the part of the patient. Share
Yeah.
what it is that you're struggling with. What are you eating? Be honest with those things. What are the supplements that you're taking? Even if it's traditional medications, there's no shame in it. Share it, because it's vital information for your physician who's getting that information.
Yeah.
And if you're not sure, ask. Ask your physician. And if they're not forthcoming, get a second opinion. Don't be afraid to get a second opinion. Ask
Yeah.
again till you feel very confident in the knowledge that you have acquired, and that you know that this is going to work for you, and that you're sure of what you're doing and what you have been given. So
Yeah.
informed consent is wide, is covers a plethora of things. It's not just giving your consent to be treated, is also being informed very well, understanding what the pros and cons are, having that general understanding of what your situation is, what your options are, based on the information that you are also given. So that's where that honesty also comes in.
I think it's excellent advice. And I think it goes back to taking ownership of your health journey. Ask the questions, be upfront. If you're not sure, ask. It's your health and it's your life. Seek opinions if you're not comfortable. Tell your doctor you need more, you need to know more. What are some red flags or symptoms that patients should look out for? Indicate a food drug interaction is occurring, or prompting them to reach out to their doctor or pharmacist.
It depends. Let's say blood pressure, or a patient with high blood pressure, or a patient on any kind of like a blood thinner,
Yeah.
and noticing that they're just bleeding. The bleeding takes time to stop. So when patients are prescribed medication, it's important to read the insert in the medication. Read it, understand what, because you could have missed something. Your physician could have missed something, and in the limited time that they have to talk with you, find out, read the inserts and find out, okay, I'm on this medication. Is it anywhere on this list? Let me know what to do with, for myself, or any medication that I'm taking that I inadvertently, did not tell my physician that I'm taking. Let me know, because it's like you said, it's your life, it's your health. So you need to be proactive and read that. That's number one. And when you see any contraindicate, anything that's mentioned that is just not feeling right, run to the ER. Don't wait. Don't assume that you can. Yeah, just run to the ER. Don't wait it out. It's better to go to the ER and be wrong than to just sit and something worse happens.
So it is clear that a healthy diet supports overall wellness. So if someone is interested in this blood group diet and they wanted to find out more about it, who do they talk to? Their doctor? How do they know more? What do they go about doing?
Yeah. So a lot of doctors don't know much about it. So what I usually do, I just tell them, get the book, Eating According to Your Blood Type, by the main guy who started this initiative, Dr. Dadamo. Just get the book and just read it and familiarize yourself with it. And you may find some things that will be like, oh, no wonder this happens to me when I eat this, and that's, could this be why? And then you can then take that to your physician as an informed patient, because most of the time your physician won't even have an idea. So it's good to bring it to them, and then they can see it and like, oh, okay, perhaps this is why this didn't work, or that medication, that, things like that. You're also helping them, because it's lifelong thing. Like, you never stop learning. So you learn from your physician. Your physician learns from you as well. So yeah.
Okay. So that's quite informative. What if they want a healthy diet that supports overall, which in turn, I know that it can impact how, just like you said, how effectively the medications could work, and potentially even reduce the need for some medications. From your holistic perspective, which one would you prefer? What are the broader benefits of adopting a generally healthy eating pattern, not just avoiding negative interactions, but for supporting medication efficacy and overall health, particularly in the context of chronic disease management? How would you advise patients or even the listeners to go about that?
Food is medicine. I believe food is medicine. And a lot of non-Western people will agree with this, because we have a lot of herbs and ingredients that are medicinal, that historically our ancestors used to treat all sorts of illnesses, that is now being used in modern medicine. So those ingredients are there. And so, for example, malaria, it wasn't the typical malaria pills that we have now that our ancestors used back then. There was a tree. Is it the neem tree? There's a name for that tree. I just know the local name of the tree. In the northern Nigeria, it's called Dogonyaro. I don't know. I think it's neem tree. Yeah. But you would boil it and drink it. And some people still use it till date. Right. And that their food, like fermented foods, you look at the Asian culture, a lot of their foods are fermented, like the kimchi. We have ours in Africa as well. Different names, they have different parts of Africa have the names. Those foods are medicinal. And I also find that some of these medicinal foods can work in conjunction with your medications to accelerate things. Yeah. Just like you have those medications that contraindicate, you have the foods that contraindicate the medication. Exactly. And I think these fermented foods are one of them. They are highly beneficial. We don't talk much about them, but they're they're very highly beneficial. And some leafy green vegetables, you just have to know which, depending on what you have, because some green leafy vegetables are not good for chronic kidney illnesses.
Yeah, I think you're right. You just have to know what you're taking with your medication and health condition, because we have so many herbs that do help and some do harm without knowing. So can you walk us through what a real patient, perhaps someone who significantly improved their medication outcomes or even dosage by focusing on general wellness through diet and lifestyle change?
Yeah. I think of one. This was a perimenopausal lady, late 40s, mid 40s, late 40s, had trouble sleeping, had the usual, the night sweats and some level of irritability. She noticed that she had less patience for things that she could tolerate before. And then she also became allergic. She started having allergies just from nowhere and she wasn't on any medication, just multivitamins really was what she was
Sure.
on. And then I remember her life she had a very, very fast, stressful life, very, very stressful. But she had a chronic illness. It was diabetes. She was diabetic for many years, but it was well controlled. She
Yeah.
didn't have, yeah, it was well controlled. Didn't have any issues with the diabetes.
Diabetes.
But these new symptoms they were very concerning to her. And she could go for hours working with little sleep, and she was okay with that. So by the time I asked her, how many hours have you been sleeping and things like that, plus the night sweats. So there was just a lot of compounding things. So her hormones, of course, were all over the place and struggling to regulate themselves. Yes. So we realized by the time I asked her again what she was eating and if anything changed, nothing really changed with her diet. Because again, remember her diet being managed. So nothing changed. She was very careful not to do anything to change her lifestyle, pretty much her medication. So of course, by the time the blood results were out and all that, her hormones, estrogen and progesterone were a little bit off. But then her cortisol levels were really high. Yes, they were very high, which we didn't understand. It didn't make sense because she was compliant with her medication for decades. So it turned out that in addition to her being perimenopausal, things started changing in her body. The way her body responded to stress was changing. The way her body responded to her environment. She started, like I said, she started having allergies to new things that she never had, that she was never allergic to. So she had to go get tested for that as well. Putting her on some supplements really helped for her, like magnesium supplement, but then also magnesium rich foods helped her, putting on omega, and she had to reduce even further her carb intake and increase her protein intake as well. And she really had to prioritize sleeping.
Yeah. That's sometimes premenopausal. That's another topic we're going to handle another day. It does change things for people. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Even when you're doing everything right, when it comes, it changes the dynamics of everything. So, Dr. Ugomma, let's have some fun. We have a thing called rapid fire, and we ask you a question, and you just answer quick. Are you ready?
Yes, let's go.
So, one food you wish more people knew could interact with common medications.
Grapefruit.
Okay, yes. Okay, true or false? I know it is so common, and most people don't know it, and it affects, I think, almost 85 medications and serious, organ transplant, HIV, so much that people don't know about it.
Yeah.
But let me see. Number 2, true or false? All healthy foods are safe to eat with all medications.
Oh, no. No. Absolutely not. Like we just talked about, somebody can tell you grapefruit is healthy. It's fruits. It has a lot of vitamin C. It's very beneficial, but depending on, no, it's not. And again, some people protein, protein is good for you, but if you have chronic kidney issues, no, it's not.
If you could give one piece of dietary advice to every patient starting a new medication, what would it be?
I would say do your research. Again, you're your own strongest advocate. Do your research, ask questions, ask your physician questions, figure out everything that you need to know about that medication, the contraindications, how you take it. Just learn that medication and ask your physician any questions that's confusing.
Beyond grapefruit, what's another surprising food you've encountered that causes drug interactions?
I had a friend. It's a leaf that we use in Nigeria, Ugwu. It's very nutritious.
Yeah.
Her husband had kidney issues, and nurses, people were advising her, yes, give him leafy vegetables. It's very good, green leafy vegetables. And she kept giving him this, and he kept deteriorating.
Oh.
Yeah. Turns out that yes, it's high in vitamin C. It has all these nutritional parts of it, but it was working against the medication that he was on for his kidney because it was putting a lot more work on the kidney.
Yes, yes. Something may be good for someone and it could be so detrimental to the other person. What is one common nutritional supplement that frequently causes issues when combined with prescription medications?
Supplement that causes
Yeah.
issues. Vitamin K is one. People usually overlook that. But vitamin K is a big one. Yeah, that's one that is concerning.
one.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you're quite right. People don't think about vitamin K. So, Dr. Ugomma, I want to thank you so much for shedding light on such a critical topic and for
Thank
sharing
you.
your incredible insights. Your expertise in family medicine, public health, and nutrition coaching truly brings a comprehensive view to medication safety. To our listeners, here are my 3 key takeaways from today's discussion. 1, the blood type diet, it doesn't have a robust scientific evidence, but instead focus on evidence-based nutrition. Always discuss your diets, including supplements and traditional foods with your doctor or your pharmacist when taking medications. Then a holistic approach to health, integrating good nutrition and lifestyle. It can significantly enhance medication efficacy and overall well-being. So, for more resources on medication safety and food-drug interactions, you can check out my book, Foods That Clash with Your Prescriptions. We do have resources on that. It's available as an ebook and also the paperback. You can also explore our MediMeal Safe Assistant for personalized guidance and also the customized MediMeal plan. Dr. Ugomma, where can we reach you if our viewers would like to know more about the blood type group or can reach out to you so we can put it in
Yeah.
in our
I'm very good. Yeah, I'm good with emails. So my email is mmokor@gmail.com. And you can find me on Instagram, Dr. Ugo93. That's my handle on Instagram.
So we're going to share Dr. Ugomma's info on the show links, and you can also find us on social media. I would put those so that people can reach out to you if they need more, they have more questions. You can find us and subscribe if you like what you heard here today on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So until next time, this is me reminding you, eat smart, your meds matter, and your body will love you for it. Thank you, Dr. Ugomma.
Thank you, Dr. Remí. Thank you for having me.